Wait, is it lively?
Yeah, Jeremiah's already mad. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Fumble Live. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are talking about Paul George and how he missed those two free throws and how he definitely got dragged for it. We're also talking about Ben Simmons and part of the reason why he might be becoming such a problematic player on the Sixers. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter @JRayTheFanatic.
Jeremiah, really quickly, I did not make the title to this live. I never make the titles for the live shows. So even though I do like the word dragged, I cannot take credit for this. So no, it wasn't me. But you stay mad in the chat. You keep doing that. That's fine. Jackie, did you get any tacos yesterday?
I did not. I got so much going on in my life right now. I didn't have time for anything.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. Well, I hope everything gets sorted out soon. I know what that feels like to have a lot going on. No time for tacos. It's very sad, but hopefully you can get some soon. Okay, so I think we should just jump right into this first need to know news story because I'm curious to hear your take on this, Jackie, because I just want to remind everybody, just yesterday I asked Jackie if Paul George had redeemed himself after his pandemic P performance in the bubble. And now I'm wondering if maybe that's a little bit different. Let's discuss. So he missed 2 free throws with 8.2 seconds remaining, which left the door wide open for the Suns to reclaim the lead. So I just want to break this down for a quick second. If Paul George had been able to sink both free throws, then the Suns would have needed a 3-pointer to send the game into overtime. If he had only been able to get one of them, the Suns would have needed at least a basket to tie the game or a 3-pointer to win it. So this was really it was a clutch moment, and Paul George definitely messed it up. And this is one of those misses that I feel like is going to go down in history as like kind of one of those defining moments of a series. You know, this is going to be one of those instances that we refer to over and over again that sort of just decided the way the playoffs turned out. So these misses are pretty out of character for Paul George. He's typically an 85% career free throw shooter. And the rest of his performance throughout the game was actually pretty good. But people are only walking away focusing on this one moment, on these 2 missed free throws, because it was such a pivotal time in the game. So let's get into some of the tweets, Leo. I threw some in there. People are writing all that redemption equity Paul George had built this playoffs, acting like it's no longer there anymore. Paul George went from playoff P to pandemic P within seconds. Again, people just seem to forget everything else that he's been able to accomplish so far in the postseason. This is my favorite tweet. Ben Simmons watching Paul George miss 2 clutch free throws. And then I think there's maybe one more. Oh, yeah. Paul George at the free throw line in the clutch just misses no hits. So people were definitely dragging him, giving him quite a hard time. He talked to ESPN after the game and acknowledged how this error cost the Clippers the game. And he said, quote, "Obviously, it was an opportunity that was missed. Pat made an unbelievable play that put me in the position to extend the lead. I am always confident at the free throw line. I've always been very successful in clutch moments at the free throw line. Tonight, I was just unsuccessful." So now this Clippers loss has made it so the Suns have won 9 consecutive playoff games, which is a franchise record. So Jackie, let's discuss this. Is this one of the worst misses of Paul George's career, and does it make you question whether or not he truly has redeemed himself?
It doesn't make me question it, because I'm going to maintain the narrative that I have always said. If your game comes down to free throws, then there's a lot of stuff that went wrong throughout the rest of the game, because there's no guarantee that you're going to make it to the line. And so if that's what you're counting on, at 85% is an amazing percentage, but there is room for error. You know, it's just one of those things. So I'm going to stick with that narrative and say, if it came down to him going to the line, then there is a breakdown somewhere else. There's a lot of fingers that can be pointed if that's what we're talking about. And like you said, he did play well outside of that. Could somebody else have made a layup earlier in the game? Absolutely. Could Patrick Beverly do anything besides be a complete jerk and actually be helpful? Of course. Did that happen? No. So I get what people are saying, because you do expect the guy that is trying to redeem himself to make it, because he's been so good at the line his entire career. So you do expect him to do that in that moment, but those moments, sometimes they go well, sometimes they don't. And it's one of those things that you have to be prepared either way. You have to be prepared that if they don't go well, how are you going to transition back on defense and make sure you get what are you going to do? You can't just dwell in the free throw moment. And I get what people are saying, because if he had not missed those, then that maybe they would have won. And I'm saying maybe because then you don't know what kind of transition is going to be made, what kind of adjustments are going to be made on the other side of the ball. Both teams are trying to win here. Is it likely I can't even say likely. Maybe they would have won if he sunk both of those free throws. But again, I'm going to say this, and I mean this with all of my heart. If y'all are really counting on a guy going to the line to win the game, then y'all got other things you need to concentrate on, because the game should never come down to that. It's helpful. To me, free throws are supposed to be nails in coffins. They're not supposed to be what gets us over the hump. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that that's actually a really good point that you brought up, Jackie, because we have to remember there was a whole game ahead of this where they were, neck and neck. And the fact that it did come down with 8 seconds left on the clock to these free throws shows that there was definitely areas and space for them throughout the game to get a bigger lead on the Suns, which they didn't do. So when you see all of this slander, and especially the Ben Simmons comparisons, how does that make you feel? Do you feel like it's justified to compare Ben Simmons to Paul George?
The Ben Simmons, I was laughing, having a good time, because at the end of the day, I don't want the Clippers to win. But so this was all funny to me until the Ben Simmons comparisons, because then I was like, y'all taking this too far. This is too far. This man he shoots. Oh my God, he actually shoots, and he can actually, I don't know, make baskets, So it's like, this is the wrong comparison. I get it. It's funny. But here's what I'm more concerned about, more so than he missed those 2 free throws, more so than the way that people are dragging him. Because let's not forget, and this is probably why I'm not as worried about it, because yes, this is 9 wins in a row for the Suns. The Clippers have been in this position. They've been in this position where they were down 0-2, and they made the adjustments. That's what you always have to do. You have to always make those adjustments. And they came out and they did what they had to do to get over that hump. This is just a hump. And it's all about how they overcome it. My concern is with what we know about Paul George, and with as brutal as funny, but as brutal as social media is being in this moment right now, is he going to be able to mentally bounce back from this? That's, to me, the only question about this situation. Not where was his mind when he missed those free throws, not, what if he had made them? That doesn't matter, because it didn't happen. But here's a guy that we know that has struggled some type of way mentally in a game. And here's a team that has done very, very well coming back from an 0-2 deficit. How is he going to be mentally going into game 3? That is the main question that is on my mind. It should be the only question that's on Clippers fans' mind, because you need him to be as good, if not better. And I'm not talking about at the free throw line. I'm talking about during the game. You need him to be as good or better than he has been. And is all this dragging going to stop that train? Is he going to do now? If he gets into the next game and he's all inside his head the way Ben Simmons is, now we can have those Ben Simmons conversations. But right now, not warranted.
I think what we've been seeing with Paul George, especially after his time in the bubble, is that he's learned some sort of tools to handle the mental stress of being in this position. And I think that seeing everybody everybody before last night was saying, playoff P is back, pandemic P is a man of the past. People were really hyping him up. So I think having this one moment of dragging that people are going to be, not talking about tomorrow or whatever is not going to affect him as deeply as it might have had this happen last year. So I think that he is going to be able to maintain that mental strength going into game 3. Hopefully, at least. But he seems like he's just in a better place all around. He's playing better. He seems better. So I feel like this isn't going to impact him as dramatically as it could have. The officiating. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jackie.
It's almost like people have just started watching the playoffs. Like, you don't know the Clippers have been down 0-2 twice. Like, why is everybody tripping? Like, just give them now. We can trip on game 3. If they go down 0-3, meme away.
Moving on to like sort of a different conversations topic here. The officiating was also a big issue in this game with all of the reviews, and we constantly talk about how the refs are making these crazy calls, and the officiating in general just seems like a mess when it comes to the NBA. Do you feel like we might be seeing a light at the end of the tunnel for that, or what was your reaction to all of that?
Okay, so the officiating in this game was, we're going to talk about this in the post-up, so I don't want to give too much away, but the officiating in this game was difficult at best, because I did think that they did a very good job of trying to get it right. And that's very important in a game like this. But in their effort to get it right, I think they gave the Suns an unfair advantage, unintentionally. We'll talk about that in the first post-up, but yes.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so let's move on to the next need to know news story. We're talking about Ben Simmons. Again, it seems like we can't stop talking about Ben Simmons just after what we saw of him. The 76ers were eliminated from the playoffs in the second round for the third time in 4 seasons. And Ben Simmons is the guy who is bearing the brunt of the criticism right now because of that wide open shot that he just missed when he decided to pass the ball. Still, I think about that moment. I saw that when I got off. I was flying when the game was happening, and I saw that moment right when I landed. I was just looking at highlights, and I was like, what the hell happened? I think about that a lot ever since it did happen. So I'm like, it's freaking wild. He did have kind of a tough postseason run. He only averaged 11.9 points, and he shot 34.2% from the free throw line. And then it seemed like his lack of success at the line was discouraging him from being really aggressive, and he didn't want to take any sort of shots, risk getting fouled, and then have to go to the line. So all around, it was just like this circle of it was just cyclical for him. Like he didn't want to go to the free throw line, so he didn't want to shoot, and then people drag him. It's just been wild. And then against the Atlanta Hawks, he only averaged 9.9 points and shot 33.3% from the line. He took only 6.4 shots per game, which is totally unheard of for an all-star player, especially somebody with his size and his skill. Now, Stephen A. Smith, who always has a source that's chirping in his ear about something, revealed some information about Ben Simmons and why he may not be able to level up as he should. So, Leo, let's roll that clip right now.
I just received a text. You know how Max, I get my text messages during the show. Y'all know that. I just received a text from somebody very, very close to the situation in Philadelphia about Ben Simmons. This is a quote. This is not me. This is them. Quote, he doesn't work, he doesn't listen, and everyone around him is family, and he's constantly babied.
Those are some pretty harsh words. He doesn't work.
Can I just say real quick, though, the next time we have Stephen A. in, can we make him normal size? Because him stretched and his face looking all big like that, I couldn't concentrate on nothing that man was saying. I was like, why is he stretched out like that? He looked like a doll.
You know what's weird, Jackie? I didn't even notice that when the clip played just now. I didn't even pay attention to that. So clearly our attention is elsewhere. Okay, well, squished Stephen A. or stretched out Stephen A. I guess has revealed that Ben Simmons is not pushed to work harder. He's not pushed to improve himself, better his game. He just has people around him telling him how great he is all the time, which is never a good space to be in when you're trying to grow. That being said, we are seeing tweets, we're seeing media headlines, we're seeing articles all written about how Ben Simmons needs to do something. He needs to change something. So I'm wondering, even if this is true, is it really enough to keep Ben in this sort of like stagnant space, or is it possible he could listen to what people are saying online and find the motivation there to actually do something to change? But clearly, one thing is for sure: the Sixers have a problem with Ben Simmons, and they need to do something to fix it. I don't know what that is. Jackie, you've suggested therapy or retirement, but maybe it's about switching up the people who are around him. But first of all, do you even believe what Stephen A. Smith here? Is it possible that Ben really is being babied by the people around him?
When I saw Stephen A. say this last night, I said, "Yep, that makes sense." When you look at Ben Simmons and the lack of improvement, when we're talking about, we all said yesterday, he's 24, but when we're talking about, and they made the Dwight Howard comparison, like, oh, Dwight, you haven't done anything. 24-year-old Dwight Howard was on this upward train. He continued to improve every year. Ben Simmons is regressing. And that, I mean, no matter what you're talking about in life, that tends to happen when you either A, believe your own hype and don't take a solid, really honest look in the mirror and try to better yourself, or B, when you have people around you that are just dismissing. And I get it, especially if you love the guy, you want to dismiss some of the shade that he receives. But you do have to take some of that to heart. Some of that you have to say, okay, Ben, haters are going to hate. They probably all are like 900 pounds and live in their mom's basement. But the fact of the matter is you can't shoot. So how are we going to get around that? And what I don't want to see is you practicing and getting 3-pointers, but you can't do it in the game. Because then if I love you, I need to come back to you and say, okay, what happened to what we practice? What's going on? I have to ask you these hard questions because I love you. But sometimes when you have, what the heck was that? What is that? Oh my goodness. No idea what that is. My phone is connected. But when you have, yes, people around you who will say, hey, don't listen to what these people are saying. You're great. You're fantastic. They can't do what you do. You don't have to worry about this, that, and the third. Then you don't develop. You need people in your corner who will push you and who will make sure that you continue to grow. But what's if this isn't true, what Stephen A. said, then how do we explain his lack of growth? How do we explain it? Is there a way to explain it if there's not a bunch of yes people around him that baby him and coddle him and try to make him feel like he's the greatest thing in the world? Is that what it is? I mean, how else do we explain that?
I mean, I don't know how you explain it. That could be one of the things happening here, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was. But also, maybe this, how sometimes people just reach the level that they're going to reach and they can't really go beyond that. Maybe this is Ben's best. Maybe the hype that he was.
It's not, though. And you can see Ben Simmons, like when you watch him, it's so obvious. Even if we're just talking about that one play to me was very much who Ben Simmons is. He has the moment. He should take the moment, but he gets inside his head and he doesn't do it. That's not a talent issue. That's a mind issue. It's a totally different thing. On the flip side, like I said, when he's on social media, the occasionally times that he is, we can see that he has the skill set to do everything that we're criticizing him for not doing. That's definitely not it. It's not that he doesn't have the talent. It's not that the talent can't improve. It's that for some reason, it's just not. That's what it is. And so then is it himself? Is it his mind? Is it his people? It's one of the three.
Could it be the Sixers? Could it be that maybe he's just staying in the same environment to be like stunting his growth, and he's not finding the motivation to really work hard and do better, so he needs a change of scenery? Could that be it?
I mean, okay. I that's a great point. I could see that. But if that's what it is and you can't see it, that's still a mental block, because every other person in the league, we'd probably be mad at them right now because they'd be asking for a trade, because they would know this spot isn't for me. I need to go, And so, but that also goes back to Stephen A's point. We've been hearing these, maybe we should break up Ben and Joel for a minute. And every time it doesn't happen. So is there someone around going, hey, Ben is our guy. He's our guy. He's our guy. It goes back to what all roads point to. Stephen A is right on this one. And whoever said this might be a legitimate source, because we just haven't seen Ben take a responsibility for anything. We haven't seen him step up and level up his game. We haven't seen him say, hey, I got to read the writing on the wall. This isn't the spot for me. I want to trade. He hasn't done any of these. You know what I mean? So again, it just seems to me like we've all done that, right? We've all been on a job that maybe we didn't leave immediately because we haven't found another one. But we read the writing on the wall and said, okay, this isn't a good fit. I have to move on. That's happened to every single one of us who has been in the working world. So it's a thing that you have to realize within yourself. And if you don't realize it in yourself, then my question still is why? Why can't you realize this? What is going on with you mentally?
Right. Well, that's where the therapy would come in and really help him, I think, address some of these internal problems that he might be having. But also, I think it's time for him to open his eyes and his ears to what everybody outside of his inner circle is saying, because he might have family and friends and whoever, the front office even telling him how great he is, how amazing he is, but he needs to take a step back, remove himself from that situation, and listen to the headlines, listen to the tweets. A lot of the times I say block out the haters because that's only going to negatively impact you, but at this point, I think Ben needs a little bit of that negativity in order to do what he has to do, whether that's just getting a little bit more confidence when he's out on the floor, requesting a trade. I think we could see Ben Simmons actually improving quite a bit if he was just out of Philadelphia. I think that if he was in a new environment, surrounded by new teammates, and kind of forced to redevelop his reputation, I think that he might actually do a little bit better. Zen Master in the chat said that he is just getting way too comfy, and I can see that. And then Bobby Digital also says there are videos of him knocking down threes and shoot-arounds. And yeah, we've all seen those videos. But the shoot-arounds, the practices, none of it matters if he's afraid to take a single shot in a game. Like I said before, he was averaging 6.4 shots per game against the Atlanta Hawks. That's so outrageous. Like, that's not even, I can't even imagine that. So the shoot-arounds mean nothing if he's not going to bring it to the actual game. Is there any team, if Ben were to request a trade, is there any team that you think he would actually maybe fit well on, Jackie?
No, I said this yesterday and I'm sticking to it, because until you take your problems with you, you know what I mean? Like it's, I mean, you could say maybe he doesn't have the right coaching staff around him. Maybe the coaching staff there is coddling him. I don't see his teammates doing that, though. I definitely don't see Joel doing that. One of the telltale signs for me is when Joel walked up to him at the end of the game and was like, "What the hell, man? Like, or why didn't you take that shot?" And Ben was just kind of like, "Oh, you know, it's just whatever." You know, but y'all remember that? I know y'all remember that because it was that moment in time when LeBron was like, to JR, because JR didn't pass him the ball. He didn't realize. And JR was mortified. And he was like, he had a visceral reaction like, oh my God, super apologetic. But he had that in the moment reaction where he felt like crap. He knew he'd messed up, and he internalized it. Ben was like, oh, you know, man, it's good. It's whatever. Like, he didn't have any kind of reaction to Joel coming up to him being like, what did you just do? That to me is another sign that he doesn't, maybe his heart, I'm not going to say that I know this for sure. I'm just saying from the outside looking in, maybe his heart isn't in basketball.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. I was wondering, like, when I said that maybe this is his limit, this is, you know, where he is, I feel like what I was kind of getting at and sort of thinking is that he's just kind of lost the passion for it. That's what it seems like. The way he reacts to these moments where he does create this major mess up that's like major headline news stories, and his reaction is just so nonchalant. How could it be like that? How could it be like that? That's what's, we see more emotion out of Kawhi, you know, like, right. And that says a lot.
Yeah, for Kawhi to be like, and Ben be like, it's a lot.
It's weird. A lot. Maybe Ben wants to focus on, I don't know, maybe he's looking for a career change. I know it would be really hard to abandon an NBA career, especially when you've, you know, made it as far as he has. But if he's not into it anymore, it's just hurting him. But yeah, that wraps up the Ben Simmons stuff. I know we have a little bit more coming up in the post-up about him. I'm pretty sure we do. So we'll be talking about this a little bit more. But let's get into the post-up.
Yes. Let's get into the post-up because I wanted to kind of really break this one down for you with this first post-up and what we saw. First of all, that end by DA was amazing. It was a beautiful thing. But the crazy thing about this is if you saw the game, if you didn't and you just saw the highlights, you probably don't know this. That last, I want to say 10, 15, maybe even 20 seconds, took like almost an hour to play because the officials were debating this and debating that. And it was crazy. So, and I appreciate, this is what I was trying to get out earlier. I appreciate the refs doing this, because how many times, even on this show, have we really said the refs are terrible, they're not doing what they're supposed to do? If you have an opportunity to review it and get it right, review it and get it right. But because they wanted to review this to make sure they got the possession right, because they needed to make sure, was the ball off a D-Book or is it Clippers ball, Suns ball, whatever. Because they took this time to review this play, then Monty Williams had the time to do this, and he had time to kind of get this play together. So I want you to take a look at this and listen to what coach is saying while the refs are reviewing this possession.
Our ball. Okay, execute it. D8. If he throws it, you gotta try to dunk it. Okay.
So he had time, and Mark Jackson. When I was watching this, I was like, "Oh, this is basically, I get to rally the troops, get them together, and figure something out." And then as soon as I thought that Mark Jackson and Mark Van Gundy was calling it last night, and Mark Jackson said exactly that. He's like, "This doesn't happen if Monty Williams does not have time to pull this play together because of this review." So again, this is one of those moments in time. Van Gundy was extremely upset about it. He was like, "No, this is unfair. This is an unfair advantage." I low key agree with that, but at the same time, we would have been mad if the refs didn't get the call right. So they had to do it this way. But let me tell you something. DeAndre went out there and followed these directions to a T. There's problems within this play, and we'll get to that in a minute, but played this to a T. Devin Booker put his whole body on the line to stop Zubac. Boogie was over there guarding. You got two bigs trying to stop this whole thing from happening, because I think they knew what was coming. Failed. There are some fouls involved, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Take a look.
With that big body in front of you. Crowder looking, throws it alley-oop. Oh! Ayton puts it down! He puts it down! It's over!
And they're trying to say goaltending, but that's a live basketball. He can finish it.
Right, there is no goaltending on an inbound pass.
Now, okay, there's a lot to unpack here. I'm sure you saw the shove. Definitely, I saw a lot of people say, "Oh, that was goaltending." It was not. Basically, it's like a lobbed pass, you guys. It's not goaltending. But like I said, Boogie was over trying to defend the inbound. Zubac was trying to stop DeAndre from getting to the basket, and Devin Booker stepped in. But there is a clear foul that is in there. But before we do that, let me talk about this push. If you didn't see the push, this is the only thing I'm going to say. I don't know what Devin Booker said, but he said something foul. And he did it because he has that hee-hee smirk at the end. So watch this little shove.
Right, there is no goaltending on an inbound pass. You can catch it above the rim. Right, there is no goaltending on an
I love that. That's what you do when you know you said something wrong and be like, "Oh, I did. It wasn't me. You said something foul." When your hands go up and you smirk like hee hee, guilty. I don't know what D-Book said, but he said something. He knew every piece of that push he deserved. I thought that was hilarious. I think I have one more tweet about what Patrick. I think I have one more tweet in here. Do I have one more tweet, Leo? Throw it up if I do. I think I got one more on a reaction. Maybe I don't. Yes. So, like I said, D-Book sacrificed his whole body, right? Now, earlier in the game, he had been, his whole nose got bloody. It was gross. I don't like seeing blood like that just gushing. I don't know if you saw that, Devin, but this is him post-game. He had to shove cotton up his nose. He looked like he just got done fighting. And with the little smirk.
He looks like a different person. Like that nose, his nose is probably 3 times its normal size. That is so nauseating to me. I do not like that. Luckily, he is dating Kendall Jenner, so he likely has access to a really good plastic surgeon. Yeah,
exactly. I see you, Woke Joe. Woke Joe said, "You sound like you be doing that." Hey, I remember instigating my brother, and my mom would walk around the corner right as he pushed me. I'd be like, "I don't know, Mom. I don't know." So I know that face, because I've done that face. And so I understand what's happening here. Let's move on to this next one, because I do feel bad a little bit for Paul George, if you couldn't pick up on that. I feel a little bit bad for him, because I just don't think when you have a good game that everybody should drag you for this one moment in time. Nonetheless, it's funny to me. I do need your help, though, and because I don't understand necessarily what's going on in this very first picture that Sports Center posted. So they posted this picture, and it says DeAndre Ayton tonight won the game for the Suns to go up 2-0. Now, I'm that's The Rock carrying, what is that? It looked like a leather coffin. I feel like I should know what this is, but I do not. Devin, do you know what that thing is that he's carrying?
I have no idea. What is it? I have no idea.
I don't know. It looks like a leather coffin, but I feel like me saying leather coffin out loud is foolish. I just don't know what it is, though. So, I don't know what it is. Don't know. Okay. So it's not just me. None of us know what that means. Okay. All right. And it looked like is there a head in there? Is there a body in there? Is it okay. It's a body
like
bag.
It could be like a tent. Like he's going camping.
Right. I see. Look like The Rock packing his gym with him on the road. I don't know what it is. Okay, well, at least it's not just me. Thank you. I appreciate that, because I was like, everybody gonna drag me in the chat for not knowing what the hell this is, but I didn't know. All right, so anyway, so it all started with that post. I thought y'all would help me with this next one, but Twitter went in on Paul George so crazy. Look at this. I don't like this. You saying he's taking off his Paul George mask and revealing that I don't like it. I don't like it at all. That's just rude. And then this one is funny. I didn't pull because this is, you've seen this one. It says, Paul George is shooting the second free throw. The rim is like, you're not that guy, pal. Trust me, you're not that guy. Rude. So absolutely rude. And this one says, Twitter getting ready to roast Paul George. Okay. That's crazy. This girl, though, this is what I wanted to talk about. Because technically, that play shouldn't have happened. Says nobody saw Ayton pulling on Zubac's jersey and ramming him into Booker. Jeff Gundy, that was no screen. It was technically a screen, but there was a definite foul before that. Should have been called a foul. Cannot restrict another player's movement by grabbing or holding their clothing. Whatever, man. I guess this is NBA basketball. Now, the funny thing is, if you heard DeAndre Ayton's post game, he said that coach told him, hey, just play hard basketball, go out there and do your thing, because the refs kind of just let you play at the end of the game. But I want you to take a look at this, because this definitely, when your jersey moves, clear foul. DeAndre definitely committed a foul. Now, you can, like I said, that's way before the shot. It gave Booker time to get over there and sacrifice his body. This is definitely a foul. I'm just throwing it out there. Do with that information what you will. But let's go on to this next one, because I don't like Patrick Beverley. I don't actually know anyone who likes Patrick Beverley. Damian Lillard is not one of those people who likes Patrick Beverley, because he talked about Patrick Beverley. There was that moment. I wish I tried to find it, but I didn't have time. But there was that moment where he wasn't even grazed and he just did this whole acting thing. And Dame called him out like that. He said, flop like a MF. 100% correct. It definitely was a flop. Twitter said, you on vacation, though. You need to relax. This first you just said, how are you this salty on vacation? And then this one is what I agree with. Beverly is the dirtiest player of all time, just in my opinion. I wouldn't say all time, because back in the day when they could actually get away with hitting each other, definitely a lot dirtier then. But yeah, you was right about that, Dame. And I'm going to mention Dame later in a theory that I have, but we'll get to that in a minute. But right now, I want to get to my proud Laker fan moment. I know some of you guys are going to tell me this is a weird thing to be proud of, but our producer texted me last night and she said, did you know Alex has been arrested? I said, Alex as in Caruso? And she said, yes, our Alex. And I was like, for what? Marijuana, you guys. I was so proud. And at his old school, Texas A&M. Here's a funny thing, and I want y'all to stay with me because it might just be me, but I'm going to have this moment. This is Alex's, his team picture, right? Let me show you his mugshot. Okay. Why does he look, is it just me? Why does he look so much better in his mugshot? Am I tripping?
There's a little bit more dimension to his face. You can see a little bit more of the stubble. I do have to say I like the headband in the other shot. I think that that's a good look for him. He looks
looks
like
12
just,
in this one. I think
Yeah,
that's the
he
problem I have with him. He looks 12. He looked like a grown man that just got arrested for marijuana in the other one. And that's just a
Jackie's
better
type,
look.
you guys.
Minus the arrest. Well, I mean, and the truth of the matter is, I'm not even really mad at the arrest because I was like, how are you getting? That's the first thing I text our producer. I said, we still arresting people for weed? I didn't know that we were still doing that, but I mean, okay. So it wasn't even like a lot. So I looked into it, and Texas A&M police officers said they were contacted by TSA. So here's the thing, and I feel like this is important to say because I fly from Denver to LA back and forth. Denver's my hometown. Well, hell, I guess I'm just telling my business. I've had items with me, and my understanding is you can go from a state that is legal to a state that is legal, and it's no problem. But then I looked into it this morning, and it's entirely up to the TSA agent. Like you can go legal to legal, and if the TSA agent is feeling some type of way, they can have you arrested. So it's literally luck of the draw. Which when I read that, I was like, oh damn, I wish I would have known that. But anyway, I'm good. So anyway, the TSA agents at the airport found paraphernalia. They didn't even find marijuana at first. They just found paraphernalia. Then they called the police. Then the police came, searched, and they located a grinder with marijuana residue. Wasn't even like, it was just residue. And so they arrested him. And then they released him on bond for $4,200. It was residue, you guys. Residue. I feel some type of way about that.
2 ounces.
Yeah. It's literally, when you have, well, maybe Devin, you don't know, but when you have the grinder and you emptied it all out, it's just the residue. So basically, if he'd have gone to the sink and rinsed it out, he'd have been fine. That's crazy to me. Anyway, go ahead, Devin.
Quick question. Sorry, Jackie, but why is he even flying to begin with? I feel like somebody with that kind of money would be flying private.
Caruso seems like that guy to me, though. He seems like he's just a down-to-earth guy. He knows that he's not super recognizable, so he doesn't have to worry about, you put a hat on Alex Caruso. That's another thing me and my producer said last night. It's like, if he walked up to me in a bar and was like, yo, baby, I play for the Lakers, I was, boy, bye. Unless you really watch basketball, you don't look at Alex Caruso and go, ooh, basketball player. You go, oh, God, please don't come talk to me. You know what I mean? And she just doesn't have that. He just doesn't have that. I got that life look. So I feel like for him, it's just easy to just fly Southwest if you want to. Nobody gonna recognize you unless they really watch basketball. Lakers fans, all of us are gonna recognize him because we love him, right? So, but if you're not really into basketball, you probably won't recognize him. So I get that. But I love this. What someone said LeBron was gonna do. I'm gonna show you this clip because this is funny to me. Take a look.
No way. I'm gonna get you out of here. I promise you, I'm gonna get you out of there. You don't belong in there. I'm gonna get you out. I'm gonna get you out of there. I'm gonna do everything it takes to make sure you get out of there. You don't belong in there.
This is hilarious to me. Somebody's like, this is how LeBron feels right now. Now, the funny thing is LeBron saw this tweet and responded to it like, yup, that's exactly what would happen. He responded with this tweet. He said, yep, straight cash money. Going to get his boy. I love my squad so much. I love this chemistry. I love the feeling. I love that LeBron was like, oh, yeah, best believe if he didn't have that $4,200, first of all, we have to talk about why don't you have $4,200? But then after that, I'm going to get my boy out. I love this. I love this moment in time. So yay for everything. But now let's shift. I see some of you in the chat say, okay, at some point you want to talk about WWE. Maybe when there's something good to talk about. But right now, we're going to talk about some football because it's time to get back to that kind of moment in time. I feel like it was maybe 2 months, maybe 2.5 months ago, where we showed you a video of Odell running on a treadmill and some guy had some thing on his back, but he didn't look right. He looked like he was in pain. He was wincing a little bit. So it's good to see that he is definitely on the right track and reminding us that he is fast. Take a look at this. First of all, I hate those treadmills. I don't like those treadmills with that. I hate those treadmills, but those treadmills are harder to run on, but my man is moving. He's doing, look at his stride though. That's the thing. When I was running track, that's what coach used to always say. You got to have that wide stride, cover more ground. My man is getting it. Love me some Odell. I love this.
Like it
go ahead,
looks like
Devin.
it's been put in fast motion, like it's being sped up.
Right? It does. It looks like those TikTok things where everybody all of a sudden gets super fast, but you can tell by the lady struggling in the back to do whatever she's doing that it's normal time. I don't know what she's doing in the back, bless her heart. But I do, Devin, I know you. I hate these treadmills though. For me, they're difficult to run on. I like the flat ones. These with the little thing, hard for me to run on. So I just take that into account too, how fast he's going on that weird treadmill. My boy's fast. I love to see, because I always thought that people, I expected to see people saying something crazy. I'm so proud of y'all, Twitter. Everybody was cheering for Odell, and I love this. No one wants it more than Odell Beckham. That hunger is contagious. Then there's this next one that says something similar, like, yeah, so true. I feel his determination. I truly hope he doesn't get hurt anymore. I love that man. No cap. It's hard for me not to love Odell. I love everything about it. Even when I'm clowning him in love, because he's just that guy that I really, really want to succeed. So congratulations, Odell. This is definitely an improvement from the last time we saw you on the treadmill. So proud of you. Can't wait to see you succeed this season. I'm just putting it out in the atmosphere. I'm also putting this out in the atmosphere. This next one is all about my quarterback. Okay. I know there's this quarterback battle that is happening with my Saints, but for me, Jameis is my quarterback. He's the one who's supposed to be starting. He's the one that Drew said should have the team. I'm going with my GOAT. That's who should be our quarterback. This workout is going to look a little weird to you, but to keep it 100, this is a dope workout. And if you understand, you understand. If you don't, you don't. But take a look. He looks scared though.
This looks so funny.
I know how it looks. Don't get me wrong. I know how it looks, but that is a really good workout. It's just to make sure that if no matter what's going on around him, he doesn't lose possession of the ball. He's keeping his eyes downfield to see who gets open, buying himself some time, getting his receivers some time so he can get the ball to him. I love this. It's the hurdles in the background for me as well. So if he has to run, he can jump over some people. Everything about this workout works for me. If you guys don't really understand this workout, who was it? DeMarco Murray for the Dallas Cowboys. He used to have to do not this kind of workout, but they used to make him carry a ball everywhere. That meant to the bathroom, to lunch, to the parking lot, and guys would just randomly come out of nowhere and try to knock the ball out of his hand. And it was to make sure that you know how to hang on to the ball at all times, give yourself the best chance. I love it. Thankfully, nobody got this. Everybody was like, he looks stupid. What's he doing? I found one person who got it, who understands what this workout is. Thank you guys so much. He says, if y'all knew anything about the sport, this is actually a decent drill. Could be simplified and done better, but still accomplishes the purpose of the drill. Ball security while moving the pocket with eyes downfield, ready to fire at all times. Telling you, this is it. I ain't seen no video like this from Taysom Hill. I'm just saying, congratulations to my quarterback. That's all I'm saying. Make sure you guys check out Challenge Accepted today at 1 p.m. because I have a whole bet. Your boy CK2K is going to be on the show. I have a whole bet around this moment in time that technically I need to lose because I want Jameis to be my quarterback. So this is the first bet that I've actually made on Challenge Accepted that I'm hoping to lose because I need Jameis to be our starting quarterback, but I digress. Let's move on to this one because this one, Devin and I are not big baseball fans. Let's just let y'all know that now. But when I tell you my alerts was going crazy that I had to tune in to figure out what was going on. We told you, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, about that sticky substance that I only knew from the strongman competition because it helps them hold those whatever things they held, those boulders that they carry with them. But apparently people have been using that in the MLB as well. And now they're losing their minds in checking for this sticky substance. So let me show you this first tweet, which kind of talks about it. This one's from Jared, and he says, this is actually absurd. Max just got checked again. So this was not the first time he got checked in the middle of an inning and is about to pull his pants down to get these people to leave him alone. That's how many times he had been checked. So take a look at this. This is crazy. So they're coming to get him, and he's like, you know what? I'm just going to drop. The ref's like, hold on. You ain't got to get naked. We just got to check your hands, your areas to see, what you're doing because this is what the manager wants to happen. So that's actually how this all started. It was the Phillies manager, Joe Girardi, that said, hey, he's doing something crazy over there. I don't like his motions. I don't like what he's doing. You guys need to go check him out. So I think that's the asset that I have next is his reaction to this and his reasoning. And I just want you guys to hear that. So take a listen.
Sure.
Yeah. I've seen Max a long time, since 2010. Obviously, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. But I've never seen him wipe his head like he was doing tonight, ever. Going like this, right?
What?
So it was suspicious for me. He did it about 4 or 5 times. It was suspicious. I didn't mean to offend anyone. I just got to do what's right for our club.
Okay. Because in my head, I was thinking, all right, but if he's wiping his head would be sweaty. Wouldn't that make your hands more? Okay, whatever. But that was his reasoning. And then, Max said that in a post game. He was like, yeah, I was wiping to get sweat off my hands, sweat on my hands so I could wipe it off or whatever. He's like, what am I going to do in a cold climate, blah, blah, blah. So this is just a weird reasoning to me. But then it happened again to Sergio Romo. And he was not with the BS either. He was like, I'm just going to get butt naked. So this one says Oakland A's reliever Sergio Romo was checked for sticky stuff and might have upstaged Max in the process because he didn't wait. Like the refs got to calm Max down. They wasn't calming down Sergio. He just was like, look at this. I'm not doing this. Let me drop trowel right now. Like, and pants are down. Like, what? Is this what we got to do now? Is this what we have to do to prove that we're not using sticky substance?
I mean, they don't want these guys stripping in the middle of a field, no matter how many female fans would love to see that, or female and male fans would love to see that. So I feel like this is a good way to kind of get them to stop being so intense about it.
Right. Look, my Glock in the chat said, my whole body's sweaty, so you might as well make me strip. If I guess, like, I'm with you though. I'm sweaty all like, come on. This is a lot. This is a lot. This almost makes me want to, and I doubt this is a marketing ploy, but this makes me want to watch more baseball because I want to see these pitchers get really pissed off and react like this. Because this is fantastic to me. I'm here for it. I thought it was fun. Maybe I'll start watching baseball. Devin, is this enough to make you start watching baseball? Is the real question.
I don't think so. Maybe, probably not.
I'm gonna try. It's not a for sure thing, but I'm definitely gonna try. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But
let me know how
that's all I got for this. Right. Let's get into this. What we not gonna do? Because this one's gonna be hard for me. Because I do not normally, now in my heart of hearts, this next one is an entirely LeBron James idea. Okay. I do not normally disagree with my king. And I'm not entirely disagreeing with him, but there's a caveat to that. But if this is his idea, which is the only way I can see this happening, I'm not really for it. But let's get into it. So we've been hearing a lot, as we should, that the Lakers need to do something in this offseason to make sure that they have a solid chance to get this ring next season, right? I don't think any of us are surprised by this idea at all. I just hope, again, in my head, this is something that's probably coming from King James because it makes sense to me, right? When you can see the end of the road in something that you're very, very passionate about, what better way to end your career than playing with people you love, right? That's why all these rumors about everybody, even Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, all these rumors about them coming to the Lakers, while I don't think that will happen, it makes sense to me why those rumors exist because LeBron James is friends with these people. The strongest rumor right now is the rumor that the Lakers are seriously interested in Carmelo Anthony. This, of course, is because they want to move on from Kyle Kuzma. Thank the Lord about that. And that the move from Kyle Kuzma makes sense to me. I'm not arguing the move from Kyle Kuzma. I'm arguing that if this rumor is true, I'm not a fan of it because what did I say the entire last season? Before even the first regular season game was, what did I say over and over and over again, almost every day on this show? Lakers cannot run it back without a 100% healthy LeBron and a 100% healthy AD. Did we get that? No, we did not. We didn't get anything close to that. LeBron is at the tail end of his career. Like I said, he's 36. So I'm not mad at him getting that injury and taking, this is the longest he's ever been out in his entire career. The longest he's ever been out, because once you hit a certain age, your body just, and I don't even want to say a certain age, age obviously has to play into it. But when you've been running your body like this nonstop since what, 12, your body has, it doesn't heal as fast, right? So this isn't a fault thing. This is a father time thing. Like I said, he's undefeated. But again, if you need two 100% healthy individuals, one of them, I'm starting to question if he's Mr. Glass. Love you, AD, but seriously. And then the other is 36 years old, and any injury is going to take him longer to come back from. Do you go out and get another 36-year-old player? Is that your plan? Because that just doesn't sound right to me. I will put this little hash mark in the column for Carmelo, because he did play 69 games this season. LeBron played just 35 and AD played 36. So he got both of them beat in as far as the number of games that he played, but it just doesn't make sense. One of the things that I really believe you need to do as an older player is you need to surround yourself with younger players, so that way they can kind of take up the slack if you need to go sit down and are less prone to injuries and things of that nature. The other thing you need to modify is your mid-range game, which I think LeBron has done that very, very well. But you need younger talent. You need to go get younger talent so they can stay healthy longer. I'm not a fan of this unless, all right, here's the rumor that I'm going to put out in the world. This rumor doesn't exist, but I would love for y'all to take it and run with it, so that way it's in the universe and maybe it could happen. I would love this to happen if it was a package deal and we got Carmelo and Damian Lillard. That's the only way that this makes sense to me. I know you guys are going to be like, oh, that can't happen. Whatever. This is what I would want to happen in my world. And I think it would make sense for Carmelo Anthony as well, because don't forget, Carmelo Anthony said that Damian Lillard is the best player he's ever played with. This was back in December. They interviewed him and he said, quote, he says, I've never played with someone who lifted his team on the court with his play as a leader. He genuinely cares for his teammates. What he's been able to do is amazing. He's the top guy I've ever played with. I've played with some great players, but the way Dame elevates his game and others, he's at the top. So Carmelo's never played with LeBron. So imagine a world where Carmelo gets to play with one of the best players he's ever played with and one of the best players in the game. I see you in the chat says it's not happening. Just don't worry about what's going to happen. Put it out in the atmosphere so maybe it can happen. You got to name it and claim it, right? So let's just put it out in the atmosphere together. Help me help you. Help me help my team, okay? Put it out in the atmosphere is all I'm saying. If this happens, I would co-sign on the Carmelo Anthony thing. If we could get him and Dame in a package deal, I would take it. If we just get Carmelo, that's a lot to do about nothing for me. Because now you're getting another older player on a team where your players are older. No, you get younger talent if that's the thing. Either this doesn't happen at all and you go out and get some younger talent that is dope and is up and coming. I could name some names, but since y'all don't even love my little idea now, I'm not. But do that or package deal. But what we're not going to do is go out here and go get another old player and we can't even stay healthy. That's not what we're doing. But please put it out in the atmosphere. Dame and Carmelo. Just throw it out there, y'all. Just start throwing it up.
Can't we just make it Dame? Does it have to be Dame and Carmelo? I just want it to be Dame only.
No, well, see, here's the thing. And this is my only thing. I think this rumor exists because, like I said, LeBron is late in his career. He wants to play with his bestie. Give LeBron what he wants. Give us what we need. Win-win. Win-win.
I don't think right now is the time to be giving LeBron his bestie. I think that LeBron needs to be okay without the bestie. They need to get a squad of young, healthy, resilient players around them because, yes, if this season has taught us anything, it's that LeBron is definitely getting older. We've known this for a while, but I feel like it was pretty evident this season. And AD is injury prone. So yes, we need just these resilient young guys around them. I think adding Carmelo Anthony, it would be fun for LeBron. Yes, like BFFs forever, but I think it would be a bad idea. I just don't want to see this happen at all. I like the idea.
Just throw Dame in the Dame. game. Jaylen Brown. I know that's not gonna happen, but Jaylen Brown.
I like that. All right, you guys. Well, we are going to wrap up the show a little bit early for the day. Don't forget to tune into Challenge Accepted at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It'll be Jackie, and you said Chris today, right?
Yep. I got him to come back. Now, look, here's the cool thing about today's show. It is double or nothing. Because, you know, Chris lost his bet to me. I lost my bet to Chris. Chris did not respond to me when I asked for the payout, but he did respond to me when I said, how about double or nothing? And he's like, okay. So that is why Chris is on the show. I am not a Knicks fan. Blasphemy. No, I am not. But yes, he is going to be on the show today. We're doing a double or nothing bet. Just understand that the bet that Chris made today, I would like to lose because I need that to happen for my Saints. So you have to watch it to see.
All right. And also, it's the most Chris thing ever to not respond to a text about... Like, Chris never answers texts, so this makes a lot of sense. It's not even surprising, but I'm glad that he's back on the show. All right, you guys, well, let's wrap it up. So don't forget to tune into that CK2K back on Challenge Accepted at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Subscribe, tap the bell, leave a comment below, and share this video with your friends. We're going to be back here at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow, so see you all then. Bye, you guys.
Bye.